Welcome to this afternoon's concert of the Arlington Heights Community Concert Band. Perhaps nothing in life is more important and inspirational than family. Within our families, we want to share our passions and traditions, and what greater tradition is there than that of music? Today we'll be combining both music created by and inspired by familial bonds, proving that music is truly a family affair. We will begin our concert with music for an event to start any family, that of a marriage. Specifically, the Overture of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's The Marriage of Figaro. To lead a community band family in today's concert, please welcome to the stage conductor, Pete Pisello. great musical families may have their ugly ducklings. But even though time has desperately tried to forget the works of the composer of our next piece, the Arlington Heights Community Concert Band and music historian Peter Schickley knows that being family means no one gets forgotten. The last, and by far the least, of the great Johann Sebastian Bach's children was P.D.Q. Bach. The Bach family so ignored P.D.Q. that the P.D.Q. of his name doesn't actually stand for anything. Little is known of his personal life, but to the best of the historical record uncovered by Professor Schickley, we now know that he was born in 1807 and died in 1742. We will perform his March of the Cute Little Wood Sprites. It would be natural to assume that the title of his march was simply another example of the naive romanticism that was part and parcel of the German early Romantic movement. But it turns out this piece was actually commissioned by a band of cute little wood sprites, a traveling troupe of extremely small folk who played the Howdy's Folks Theater in the small southern German town of Wein am Rhein. The cute little wood sprites, as they called themselves, asked PDQ to write some entrance music for the beginning of their show, and they were so pleased with the result that after their first performance, several members of the troupe, still wearing wings and halos, which were their costume, climbed up on top of the composer and did a little jig, giving rise, incidentally, to the classic question, how many angels can dance on a pinhead? So now, in all of its historical accuracy, here is PDQ Bach's March of the Cute Little Wood Sprites. Few teams have had the success and influence on musical theater as Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein II, a musical partnership called the greatest of the 20th century. While both successful musicians in their own rights, when circumstances brought composers Rodgers and lyricist Hammerstein together, they became fast friends, inseparable, and practically family. In their 20-year working relationship, they wrote hit after hit, such as Oklahoma, South Pacific, and The King and I, but perhaps none better than their final work together, The Sound of Music. The musical is based on the real-life experiences of the Von Trapp family in Austria in the late 1930s, and follows a young aspiring nun named Maria, who is sent to serve as governess of the 7 children of Captain Von Trapp, a widowed naval officer. Through her love of music and her caring nature, Maria helps the Von Trapp family come together and fight joyous lives, just as the threat of Nazi Germany looms on the horizon. Now we present an arrangement from Robert Bennett of selections from Rodgers and Hammerstein's The Sound of Music.
It's hard to see when you come from the sun, right? Still can't see.
How many times have we heard that kids these days have terrible taste in music? Well, parents have been saying that for generations, such as the arguments in the Fillmore house in the early 20th century. James Fillmore was a highly respected composer and publisher of gospel music, well known for his devotion to his faith and his musical integrity. He encouraged his son Henry to take up music on respectable instruments, such as the piano and the violin, which he did. But Henry, the devious boy he was, had his eye on the most sinful of instruments, the trombone. After his mother covertly bought him a trombone, he learned the instrument in secret and started writing riotous marches known as screamers. The elder Fillmore refused to publish these uncouth songs for years, forcing Henry to quietly publish his songs elsewhere under various pseudonyms. In February of 1908, the family rift finally healed, and Henry was able to publish his Circus Bee march under his own name and under his father's publishing label. We'll now perform Henry Fillmore's The Circus Bee. It's a good thing the God-fearing Fillmores relented in their judgment of the trombone, or surely we'd all be considered sinners for this afternoon's feature presentation, in the form of our guest performer, world-renowned trombonist Douglas Yo. He's won a number of awards, including the International Trombone Association's Lifetime Achievement Award, He's been a trombone professor at the New England Conservatory of Music, Arizona State University, Wheaton College, and the University of Illinois. He was director of the New England Brass Band for 10 years. He's written 5 books, made 7 solo recordings, and been included in hundreds of recordings in his 27-year tenure in the Boston Symphony Orchestra and Boston Pops, including the film scores to Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan under the direction of John Williams. But most importantly, he will soon be celebrating 50 years of marriage to our very own talented baritone horn player, Pat Yo. Now, to perform Richard Leeds' Concertino Basso with the band, please give a very warm welcome to Douglas Yo. Thank you again to Douglas for joining us, but Pat and Doug aren't the only musicians in their family. Their daughter, Linda Leonard, is also an accomplished trombonist. She graduated from Wheaton College in 2001. She's the bass trombonist of the Northbrook Symphony Orchestra and has an active teaching studio where she gives in-school and after-school lessons to young low brass players. And now she'll be joining her father on stage to perform Gordon Bowie's Second Bass Blues. Please give a warm welcome to Linda Leonard. That was it? Just wait, there's more. Jeannine Leonard is in the 4th grade and has been playing trombone since June of 2024, in addition to the piano lessons she has been taking for 2 years. She is performing on the same trombone her mother used when she started playing, and now she'll be joining her mother and grandfather on stage to perform Julius Otto's German folk song and Tommy Peterson's Supermarket. And now, for her debut trombone performance, please give a very warm welcome to Hannah Jeannine Leonard. Thank you again for Douglas Yo and family for joining us today. Everything was wonderful. And now we will be having a 15-minute intermission. Welcome back for our second half. Born out of their mutual love for the blues, comedy legends Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi formed the Blues Brothers, starting with skits on Saturday Night Live, then transitioning to Hollywood movies while touring as a genuine band on the side. As Jake and Elwood Blues, the fictional brothers performed blues standards and quickly earned the praise and participation of blues legends such as James Brown, Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, and many others. In their signature 1980s film, the Blues Brothers undertake a mission from God to save the orphanage they grew up in, which cannot pay its property taxes. They decide to do this the only way they know how, to reform their own old band family and put on a show to raise the money, all the while avoiding the police, Illinois Nazis, a country band, and a jilted ex-lover. To lead us in an arrangement by Les Taylor of some of the Blues Brothers' greatest hits, please welcome back to the stage our conductor, Pete DeCello. A family working together and combining talents can accomplish great things. Brothers George and Ira Gershwin were classically trained at a young age. George learned traditional classical piano and composition, while his brother Ira focused on studying classic literature. Both, however, fell in love with the new American style of music, jazz. Jazz was considered lowbrow, vulgar, and beneath the cultural elite of the time, and the Gershwin brothers took it upon themselves to help dissuade those foolish notions. Using their classical training, they created a sound that was a symphonic jazz, fusing classical forms with popular and authentic jazz idioms, and bringing the sound of jazz to the most prestigious concert halls in the world. In particular, this sound went to define the Hollywood sound of the early 20th century, perfectly skirting the line between high art and popular appeal. The soundtrack to the 1943 film Girl Crazy is a perfect example of this, featuring the Gershwin brothers' timeless tunes, including But Not For Me, Biding My Time, Embraceable You, and I Got Rhythm. Family is often the foundation of success, and perhaps there is no greater success story of a musician than that of the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Performing at a young age with his brothers in the legendary Jackson 5, Michael quickly showed himself to be an exceptional talent, rising to be the lead singer of the group. His path to superstardom was not necessarily smooth, as it was both bolstered by, but not necessarily made easy, by the management of his father. But it's obvious his talent was nurtured and given the chance to shine. When Michael Jackson shot off on his solo career, he set a benchmark for pop and rock musicianship rarely equaled to this day. Pushing out hit after international hit, he delighted audiences and inspired future musicians from all walks of life. We'll perform an arrangement from Michael Brown, which highlights Jackson's whole career, from his beginnings in the Jackson 5 to his later superstardom, featuring the hits I Want You Back, I'll Be There, Rock With You, Thriller, and Man in the Mirror. This afternoon, we've explored the excellence of songs from legendary composer and lyricist duos, and the husband and wife team of Robert Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez continues that tradition, proving that this type of partnership is still going strong today. When they married in 2006, Robert was already a successful composer, having worked on stage production Avenue Q, but it was in his partnership with his wife Kristen that their music really became phenomenal. After first collaborating with each other, writing music for Finding Nemo the musical, they hit their stride a few years later with a little song called Let It Go from Disney's Frozen. This song earned Robert an Academy Award and made him the youngest person in history to achieve the rare EGOT, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Awards. A few years later, again with his wife, Robert won another Oscar, becoming the only person to win an EGOT twice. This time, it was for a song from Disney Pixar's Coco, Remember Me. We'll perform this second Academy Award-winning song, which better resonates with the themes of family this afternoon. Remember Me is a song ensuring us that although our loved ones may depart, our memories, and in particular the memory of shared music, can keep our families close to our hearts forever. Here's Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez's Remember Me. Even early in his youth, Brian Wilson had an inherent sense of musicality, listening intently and dissecting popular music of the time, particularly the harmonies. It fascinated and excited him so much that of course he wanted to create his own music, but he'd need help. The first person to ask are always those closest to you, and who is closer than family? Pulling in his brothers Dennis and Carl, and later their cousin Mike Love and friend Al Jardine, they formed the Beach Boys. Initially managed by their father, Murray Wilson, the Beach Boys charged to the top of the charts, exemplifying the best of the early American rock California sound. Led by Brian's songwriting and innovative recording techniques, combined with the group's tight harmonies, musicianships, and strong family ties, they not only stayed relevant throughout the British invasion, but also helped shape and redefine the sound of American rock. Their impact would go on to pioneer multiple rock subgenres, including pop, progressive rock, and psychedelia, and their long-term success made them one of the most critically acclaimed and commercially successful bands of all time. We'll perform an arrangement by Michael Brown of some of the Beach Boys' greatest hits, including I Get Around, California Girls, Wouldn't It Be Nice, and Good Vibrations.
All right, thank you so much. We just have one more for you. Thank you for being a part of our celebration of families, though. This idea actually was our President Judy's. Well, her idea was to honor our families in the band, so hopefully you've read about them in our programs, and there's a poster outside with more information. And then I morphed it into a whole concert theme, so we worked together and collaborated on that. So let's give a round of applause for all of our families. Yeah. I want to give a special note, if you didn't see it in the program, and thank the McCrory family. Where's the McCrory family? Could give us a wave? In back there? Yes. So Glenn, who's in the band, his father donated a large amount of money, and we were able to purchase a new piano, which is not up here now because we don't have enough room. I wanted to display it, but we're kind of cramped as it is. So we'll show it to you at the next concert. We'll probably also use it at the next concert. But I want to give a special thanks to Donald McCrory for all right. And a special also thanks again to the Yos. Where are the Yos sitting now? Thank you to the Yos for sharing their talents with us. Awesome concert. This will probably be our last concert in the theater for a while, just because you guys have all come out in numbers to come see us. We didn't fill every seat today. We did turn away some people from, I don't know, how many people did we say couldn't, like 60 or something like that were trying to request tickets, and we're like, sorry, we're at capacity. So we have now, as my cousin said, we've graduated from a theater act to an arena act. We are now an arena act. So we will be in the field house for the next concert, and then we are reserving it for all of next year as well. So. And Julie's reminding me, because I guess some people had called Forest View to say that they didn't want to go to the gym because they don't want to sit in bleachers. There are comfortable seats, just like the ones you're sitting in there, and then we also will have additional seats on the floor. So don't worry, we will keep it handicap accessible, and we will have comfortable chairs for you. So spread the word, and everybody's invited next time. So sorry if you're watching at home, or if you have people that were left at home, please apologize, and we will make sure everybody can fit moving forward. But thank you all for coming out. Yeah. And then thank you again, Mayor Hayes. I saw Mayor Hayes come in. Thank you, Mayor Hayes, for being here and always supporting us. And what else? I gotta ask for, yes, donations. And we want to, Mayor, will you still be mayor when our next concert happens? One more time, okay. So we'll see you at our next concert. Through his, so I don't know how the band works. We're supported through the village and the park district as a joint effort to make this keep going. And then of course your donations help us to put on nice programs like this, and then also our jazz band, which you have all the dates in your program. So anything that you feel like you can give us to keep this stuff going for you, every dollar helps. So there's envelopes in your programs. There's boxes outside if you want to drop money in there, and then there's QR codes if you'd like to give digitally as well. All right. So thank you again so much. This is going to be also really the last song. There is no more after this. We're out of ammunition. So hopefully you enjoyed the concert, and thank you so much again for coming out and supporting us.
Richard and Robert Sherman, or more commonly known simply as the Sherman Brothers, were responsible for more motion picture musical song scores than any other songwriting team in film history. Most of their collaboration was with Walt Disney, scoring not only 12 Disney musicals, but also a majority of Disney's World's Fair and Disney theme park attractions. Their work defined the Disney sound for decades, and their influence is still felt today. The best showcase of the Sherman Brothers' work, though, is probably one of their earliest for Walt Disney, that of the soundtrack to Mary Poppins. The film tells the story of a magical nanny who brings joy and discipline to the Banks family, not only by wrangling their unruly children, but by causing the right amount of chaos to shake their father out of his ordered routine and open his eyes to the importance of spending time with his family. Her task no doubt would have failed without the whimsical musical talents of the Sherman Brothers providing the score. We'll conclude our concert with an extensive medley of selections from Mary Poppins, including everything from A Spoonful of Sugar to Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Thank you.